It's still October 1st. Phone is charged a little bit, or the camera charged a little bit more. I wanted to keep recording because I don't want to forget the dream that I had and the connection to what's going on. But I'm working on someone's birth chart. I appreciate the foundation that this book is giving me, but it's very rigid. It's very rigid. With certain descriptions, it feels very rigid. And I'm looking stuff up in other places, and reading that, and then using this as like a template almost, or a frame, baseline. And then as I'm reading that, I'm like, okay, I can see the meaning now, right? That this book was trying to convey. But clearly it is very rigid in its perspective to a certain degree. So yeah. So anyways. So where was I this morning? If silence could speak, right? So that's where I'm at with I put them on post-its so I don't forget. Right, just that recognition of what I value, and what happens when I encounter people that aren't transparent, right? And I get triggered. Clearly I get triggered, right? The videos that I'm preparing to post, I'm still trying to analyze those interactions that I had with those 3 people in my life who triggered me, because all 3 of them did. You know, and I triggered them. I'm sure of it, right? It was this mutual triggering, all 3 individuals from my past, for the videos that are being posted in my current timeline, right? But by that time you get to this video, it'll be in my past. But yeah, so I was clearly triggered by all 3. And I know that I triggered them because of the outcome that, you know, was coming out, right? Like, you know, that acquaintance that I had that contact with, that it was clear I was triggering her with my sheer presence. I couldn't try to really speak my truth because she didn't want to hear my truth, but she wanted to direct the questioning, right? And the assessment, if you will, of my situation, to give herself whatever it was that she needed to get. And then it triggered me, right, in response to her questions of like, why are you doing this? Why? And then there was Mr. Arizona, who I was trying to figure out like why in that moment, right? He continued to trigger me, coincidentally. And you know, you've already I think I might have mentioned it, I don't know, but there was this just continued theme. And I don't know if I don't remember, to be honest with you, if I shared what the outcome was of that last interaction that I had with Mr. Arizona. But he kept texting. I mean, the last time I had contact with him was what I shared back at the end of August. Which was, you know, continuing, like I had to repeat myself. I felt, and I even told him, I'm like, the fact that I have to keep repeating myself leads me to, it could, for someone, demonstrate that they weren't being heard, right? And there was still no acknowledgement that I may have been right. No acknowledgement. I mean, do I need that ego stroke? No. But it facilitates the conversation. I was telling someone else. What was I telling this person? Who was this person that I was telling this to? About communication. Oh no, it was part of my presentation. It was part of my presentation when they asked about how do you decrease, right, the tension in a situation. And if both people are elevated, right? And that the goal is for one of you to stay calm. and to acknowledge, oh no, it was with my clients when I was talking about when you're in a connection with someone. I explained it's a dance, right? It's give and take. It's this exchange of information, and you're listening at the same time. And so what you're listening to, you want to project that back to make sure you're understanding the other individual as part of that flow of communication, right? You take some of what they're saying, right, and acknowledge it and give it back. Even if it's not completely true, right? Just the whiff of it would be enough to help facilitate the continued flow. So it would have been nice to hear from this individual, you know what? I can see it from your point of view. I can see how my actions may have contributed to this, right? Yes, I was pushy, but instead it was like, no, I'm not pushy. Yet the actions that unfolded were very pushy-like, and I wasn't the only one to see it. So again, it's just that acknowledgement that I'm being heard, that I'm being seen, right? And then in the other situation where there was more grace, because I knew the context of what was going on, right? And I just kind of bit the bullet at that moment in time because it wasn't the appropriate time for me to, I knew more of information to a certain degree, right? The big picture. So in that moment of time, I wasn't going to, speak my truth. I was going to bite the bullet, and I did. I bit the bullet with the intention that later on, right, I was going to still honor this person's request because this person continuously asked me what went wrong with us, and I continually repeated, nothing went wrong. Everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. And I decided, and I sent this person, I think I might have texted this person that I was going to send emails, writing, right? And some people were like, well, going back, it's like texting. And the reason why I did it this way with this individual is because, one, they have a lot of stuff going on. Two, every time I tried to speak, it was never the right time, right? So I figured the written word, right? People can gauge it, read as much as they want from that, stop when they want to because they're in control of that information now. It's like a piece of paper, right? How much you read from this piece of paper is up to you, right? And how you process it is up to you, right? And yes, there's going to be communication for error, right? But I tend to write long emails, so these are really long. And I chewed on them for a long time, too. So I sent this person a few emails. And in my email, I acknowledged, I hadn't been contacting, we had a contact, this individual and I, we had a contact. I think it was a week after I moved in here. Things were still, a week or two, things were still like out of place. Like I really didn't have the ability to have people over. This person reaches out saying, hey, oh, because I had said, whenever you're ready, you can come and visit, right? It's open. But this person the following week said, hey, I'm going to be in town for a quick minute because they're going to, do something. And that was it. So there was this implying like, okay, I'm going to take you up on your offer, right? Not giving thought that I'm still adjusting. And I said, no, I need to put my barriers as well. Like, hey, it's great you're going to be in town for a quick minute. I'm actually still in the middle of doing stuff. But you know what? Maybe next time you're in town, we can hang. We can connect. And I never heard back from this person. And I think it bothered her. It bothered her that I wasn't dropping everything to attend her needs, right? I was putting my boundaries, saying no. Like, I'm still adjusting. Like, I'm still trying to get my job going. Like, there's stuff that I'm needing to do, and I'm putting myself first. So I didn't hear back from this individual. So I said, okay. But I saw, I still follow her, and I saw that, she had a new pet, and I congratulated her. And I made a note of it here, where I'm at as well. I'm like, it's been a slow transition, but it's still very messy and disorganized, but it's starting to feel like home. And then I told you that I would email you bits and pieces of the information that you requested about the ways you can improve yourself. If I don't hear from you to stop emailing, I will only assume you are okay with me continuing. I still hold true that everything played out exactly as it needed to. This was a learning experience for both of us if we allow ourselves the grace to learn the lessons. And so here goes. These are the observations I made with you while I was with you. And I'm acknowledging, right, at the same time that I'm only reflecting back what I see and also what my triggers were, and letting her know I owned my triggers, right? And I may not have shared them in that moment because I recognized them and they were for me to process, right? And then I acknowledged her. You're very insightful. You pick up on stuff. This is probably stuff you already know about yourself. But I'm honoring your request. And and then I talk about I'm not going to push you away. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not going to talk bad about you behind your back. Now, for clarification, this is not talking about someone behind their back. She knows about this channel. I've told her about it. Whether or not she chooses to listen is up to her. And it's out in the open. So it's not like I'm doing it hush hush. No, this whole journey is about me, right? Like processing my karmic energy in public. And so again, and just reminding this person, right? The great thing about moments is that there are cycles of time. They each have a starting point and an ending point, and some are new and some repeat. And so I go on and just I kind of explain, what's been going on. And so I put lesson 1, be aware of when you're being triggered and just own it in that moment. Just own it. Like, I'm being triggered by you. I'm needing space, right? Versus projecting that frustration or anger onto the other person. And then just letting her know, I encourage you to do this not just with the people that you know, but with the people that you don't know. Because when we only focus with the people that we care about, then that's how this ripple effect continues outside of our immediate circle of connectedness, right? The world is needing people to care for each other, for strangers to become good neighbors. And I said again, these are just observations that you may already know. I'm simply honoring your request to improve and work on yourself. If I do not receive any form of message from you requesting that I stop, I will continue with lesson 2. And I gave it a week at a time. Like I didn't send the next one. Just kidding. It was 2 days after. 21, like 3 days after. And for that one, but I think the next one, the lesson after that, it wasn't until like a week later, like 10 days actually. So this one was only a few days later, if I'm being honest. So it went from August 19th to August 22nd. And I said, I haven't heard back, so I'm assuming it's okay to keep moving forward. Again, at any point, feel free to respond back, letting me know to stop. Lesson 2, be mindful of your intentions, your words and your intentions. And then I just continue to talk about, just some of the things that I saw and how sometimes when there's words with no action, they can be seen as lies, or words with no action can be very misleading. I mean, it's very apparent in the world that we live in, right? With our politicians and people in office and people of authority, right? When you call and seek for help, or someone says that they're going to help you, and then there's no follow through, then it's just like, you're kind of left questioning, wondering, and then your level of trust kind of like starts, going off a little bit. Like, okay, can I really trust this person, right? So, lesson 2. Watch your words and your intentions. Be mindful of your words or intention, because words are powerful. And I end it with, if people had the power to see right through you, to see your thoughts, what would they match? Would they match your actions is what I put. Be mindful of your words and your intentions. And remember, we are always whole, complete, and perfect with the imperfections we have been given. We all have chirons to heal in this lifetime. They just might look a little different, and we are all reflections of each other. The things that trigger us most are the things within us that need our attention and our healing. So knowing that we are all healing things within us allows us to be more aware of ourselves and more gracious with each other, because we know how it feels to be hurting. Then I put the final lesson. The final lesson is this, that each moment is a cycle within itself. It has a beginning or an end. It can repeat, or we can learn from it and do something different. Within those moments, we always have free will. Free will is the wild card in life. It paints our path to our own choosing. In essence, it's how we choose to paint our life. If we are wise, we can look at each moment as an opportunity to choose the role we play. We can choose to be a teacher or a student. We can just react emotionally and not pay attention. If we choose to embrace and view the people in our lives with purpose, it will be a win-win situation. Even those who may hurt us, there will always be a lesson or a golden nugget of wisdom underneath the pain. But it will depend on your perspective on the situation. It doesn't mean that there won't be any emotions that will be easy to feel. It just means that we can embrace and move through the emotions and discomfort with more ease once we are made aware that there is purpose in this interaction. I have said it to you before, and I explained to her, you were a teacher for me. I learned how to value my time, how to set my boundaries, how to value my worth, and overcome speaking up for my needs, wants, and desires. I learned what can happen when I don't take initiative to clarify issues surrounding my time, my worth, and was able to practice speaking up again. I don't know. So then I kind of share a little bit more about just the images that I saw, what I was experiencing during the time that I was with this person. And then, just trying to make sense of stuff, right? And then, so then I just kind of, and, I added a little more personal stuff, but then I put each moment. So lesson 3, the final lesson, each moment is a cycle. Choose to be the teacher and or student in every moment you experience, because every moment has a purpose. Every person serves a purpose in your life, and how you choose to look at each moment is the flavor you choose to give yourself in this crazy world we call life. And then I put P.S. Be kind to yourself. The more gracious you are with yourself in your own healing process, the more you will also be gracious to those around you. How you treat other people is a reflection of how you treat yourself. You are beautiful. You are really beautiful outside and inside. Don't ever forget that. People around you, including me, have seen how you go out of your way to make things happen for others. You are their shining light when their days are hard for them. You are giving, kind, and sincere. Please don't let these experiences between you and me bring you down. They happened exactly how they needed to for my own learning and yours too. I'm grateful for how things turned out. I really am, and I hope you are too, or will reach a point in your journey one day when you can look back and smile knowing you were exactly where you needed to be in your healing. You tried your best with the tools you had at hand, and that even though the cycle between us ended in this manner, a new cycle is just around the corner, waiting to start anew. And a chance to do things differently will always be there, whether it's in this lifetime or the next. So that was really my last contact with her. It was and that last email was in the beginning of September. A few days ago, okay, I need to pause because my water is boiling and I need, give me 1 second. Okay, headphones. I'm making breakfast, my oatmeal, so the water was boiling. So I hadn't had any contact with this individual from that point. So a few days ago, it was a few days or last week, I've mentioned before, I don't have good reception here for my cell phone. For my computer, it's great. That's really all I care about is the computer, because it's my bread and butter, so I need to make sure I have internet connection. But for whatever reason, and it's in the area, because I've noticed it even when I'm around the block, that it takes a while for the internet for me to tap into it. So when it comes to social media, right, like Instagram or Facebook, I don't even check Facebook, but Instagram is usually, or even with YouTube on my phone, I can't access it. I have to be on my computer to access what I can. And even then I'm limited to what I can like I can't post. I don't know how to do that on my computer. It won't let me. But for like Instagram and stuff. But anyways, so I still followed this individual, and I was noticing, I'm like, oh, this person hasn't posted something in a while, and I'm seeing other people that, you know, mutual people that we know mutually, and they're posting. I'm like, it doesn't, something's off. And then this person came to my mind. I'm like, I hope this person is okay. I really hope this person is okay. So I'm looking and I can't find them on my friend thing. And I'm like, okay. So then I try searching and it's not coming up. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I have 2 accounts I've mentioned. I have my personal account, which I still keep private because I have nieces and nephews and pictures of the kids there, and they're not my kids. So I'm just honoring that privacy of it. If I didn't have any pictures of the kids, I'd be open to everybody. But, you know, I don't want to delete those pictures because those are chapters in my life that I love. So, but I have also the Instagram for this channel. So I switch back and forth just to update. And so I was looking through mine, and then I realized, you know what, I wonder. So I searched, and sure enough, it came up, and I was like, that's weird. When it's my personal account, now I can't access this person. There's like no picture, like it's nothing. And I realized I have to request to be their friend again. I'm like, oh. Silence speaks loudly when you know how to listen, right? So I'm like, okay. This person blocked me, unfriended me, which is fine. I'm like, okay, this person is still triggered by me. Got it. Okay, right? If that's where they're at, that's where they're at. And I'm not gonna reach out. I'm not. They clearly don't want to see anything that I post. This person never really took an interest to the YouTube channel when I mentioned it to her. Even when I mentioned to her that she's a part of it, she mentioned possibly looking into it, but I don't think she ever did. But I don't know. Man, we don't have contact. So I saw that, and it hurt a little bit. Of course, I'm not gonna lie. It'd be cold. It hurt. It made me sad. I'm like, okay, she's still hurting. She's still healing. I'm clearly still a trigger. So, so I just accepted it, and I left it as is. I was just like, all right, I'm done, right? Like, there's nothing else I can do. I don't know what else to express, right? So I left it as is. I really did. I didn't think much of it and kind of kept moving on. Really. Because I hadn't thought about her after that. I was like, okay. Except for when, like, because my sister knows her too. And then I was like, you know what? My sister doesn't need to know any of it. She doesn't need to know, right? It is what it is. It happened and it unfolded. It is what it is. We're going to keep living our lives, right? As best as we can. But then last night I have a dream about her. I'm like, why am I having a dream about this person? And in my dream, I'm walking to the park, or going past the park, and I spot her up ahead. And she sees me and she looks frantic because she's trying to hide. And so I'm like, okay. And I'm still walking because that's the way that I'm walking. And then I'm passing by her and I'm going like this. I'm like, hey, are you okay? And she gets really upset at me, really upset. And she starts projecting again, anger towards me. And I get upset because she's doing that. And I'm just like, own it. You need to own your shit. Like, own your part. And I say that to her. I'm just like, just own it. And that's, there was something else that I said. And it was out of anger. And when I woke up, I was just like, really? Why would I say something? Like, I must have been that triggered. I don't remember what it was, because it took a little recharging the camera. But I remember just saying, own your shit. Like, own it, right? Don't be projecting your anger on me. You gotta own up your parts, right? And then there was this accusation of, like, you should have, like, this is my neighborhood. What are you doing here? Is what she says to me in my dream. And I'm like, I and I truly didn't know that that was her neighborhood. I was just walking. and so there was this, again, this, like, you should have known to not cross paths with me again kind of feeling. And I'm just like, no, I'm not tracking you. I'm not following you. I'm not. I'm really not. But for whatever reason, our paths are crossing in my dream. She's angry at me. I'm angry back. So there's tension. And then, gosh, that's all I remember. Dang it. This is what happens when I don't write it down. There was something else that happened. I don't know if I walked away. Shoot. That's all I remember, was just this continued attack towards me. This continued attack towards me. Anger. And this inability to own where she's at, right? And then just blame. So I woke up, like, kind of tripped out about it, because I was just like, why? I didn't go to bed thinking about this person. And then just realizing, I guess I have to talk about it, right? I mean, because I'm documenting my dreams, I'm documenting what's happening. So for whatever reason, I was being led to talk about it. I don't know. But anyways, that was a dream. And I still wish her the best. I mean, she's smart, she's beautiful, she's clever, she's ambitious, she's driven. She's gotten herself, you know, where she needs to be on her own. She's fierce, you know. I wish her the best. I really do. And I'll always love her. I will always love her. Because I learned a lot from her. I learned a lot from that experience. As triggering as it was, I learned a lot. And I'm grateful. So, I guess we'll see what happens next. Alright, bye. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So